coming up here, you can go in by way of the easement, the right of way for the electrical. You can't go through for a variety of reasons, and the first one is that it goes through a swamp. Then further along, it's blocked by having been grown over in the process. Next, you come down here to the gate. For a while, this used to be open when I first moved into the area, but I believe the North Attleborough Water Department put this fence up to keep the people that would come down here primarily for the illegal dumpers, and they're not fond of the dirt bikes either. But you can either go in back there at the break in the wall, or you can come right up here. And my faithful traveling companion, Ozzy the Wonder Pup. Hey Oz, Ozzy, Ozzy! There he is. Ozzy, say hello. Okay. So at any rate, so if you had come down the easement, you would have came in and come in this way. The other good indicator that you get coming in this way is if the road's dry, that means you'll probably be able to pass through. Start seeing puddles. That'll give you an indication that if it's puddling here, it is probably flooded over in ways further down that makes it impassable. So for the proof of the point I made a moment ago about the now up here is the first choice you can make. You could go take a right here, and this would come around and connect to the railroad bed. And one of our first signs for the illegal dumping. People will bring mattresses and furniture and other things down here. On town maps, you'll see Water Drive doesn't end at the end of the cul-de-sac up there, but rather comes down here, and up in front of us becomes the name for this path. Goes about 3/4 of the way down, and then just stops being anything. Regardless, coming up this way now is our first decision point. That if I went left here, there's a variety of trails that would take you eventually up to the end of Field Drive. And also it's the way in from the end of Water Drive. So this is how we start about getting in here. You can see like the dirt bikes come in this way. They enjoy. My problem with the dirt bikes is basically that they chew up the trails so that when water gets in them, they become really muddy, and sometimes they will rip up vegetation. Basic rule of thumb, there's a lot of these paths are on top of embankments, so you're sticking to higher ground for the most part will keep you high and dry. If you've got mobility issues or little kids, going off here to that side, that's going to be hilly and wet and difficult. Not impassable, not impossible. But you'd want to be careful going that way. Going this way, eventually the road floods over. So you'll have some problems getting by there. So what you do is when you're coming up here, again, you can go left up here, and it will lead you into the up into the trails, and you can eventually get to the end of Field Drive or Water Drive. Okay, so there it is. Now we're coming down. And you'll see on town maps that this is still called Water Drive. I believe that because there's some water mains coming through, it required it. So coming down, you can see that if with a little more rain, this would get flooded. In fact, oftentimes during the if there had been a snowpack, that this would be all flooded out. Not too bad here. There's two ways, and they both end up in the same place. So coming up here, if I went left, that would join up, and eventually it would run parallel to Water Drive and take me up and over the hill if I wanted to go that way. So this brings this back out. Let's do some exploring. And now we're coming up, and now this time, we've passed this a couple of times. This time we're going to take it on. So we've veered left here. So we're heading on Water Drive. We're heading towards Fuller. So now we're going to see. And we've just realized that, and on top of that, we've just realized that the Water Drive is living up to its reputation, to its name, and has kind of flooded over. Now here's what you'll run into, particularly on the side that connects the entrances from like Field Drive and from Water Drive, is that you have the runoff in the little streams. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this trail up here to see how we can avoid it. In the prior video, this was pretty much dry. So after the rain of a couple of days, a lot more. And you can see that when it gets up to a certain level, the runoff splits off and starts going over this way. And then we run it again to some more of our dumping, which always leads you to the question, why? In Plainville, in most cases, if you put a thing saying free and leave it out on the curb, somebody comes by and grabs it. Okay, so now we're approaching the easement for the high tension wire. Yeah, we've come to the path. That crosses over to Field Drive. All right, so I stopped the video there because we basically doubled back to where we had come in. So now we are above the this is one of the entrances from Fuller Street. You come up, you come in here. If you go straight in, you'll eventually end up on the main trail. We'll go back in on another one so I can show you some of the problems. Now, if you're driving up here, there is a little bit of parking along the road here. Again, I'll show you up a little further behind. And oftentimes you'll come up by this way and you'll find people in here fishing off the little bridge there. And there's another place to park. Now beyond that, it's the North Attleborough water pump, which I know in Plainville will set some people off that with our water issues that we're giving some of it to North Attleborough. Well, do not blame the Plainville Town Fathers on that one. When that deal was done, this area was still part of Rentham. And it was pretty much uninhabited, so they never saw that there'd ever be a need for this. All right, so now we're going to go back in so I can show you the main connection to the other end of the road that we started on at Hillco. And with that, I'm going to show you the biggest problem with coming through here, except once it's been dry for an extended period, is that real ponding and puddling happens at this end. Which is like I said before, when I would come in, I'd use that as an indicator, because if there were big puddles, I was going to do an alternative, which I'll show you, so that you understand what's in here and what we have. So this fork here, we basically went up that way and we hooked up to that and came out onto Fuller Street that way. Now, so we're basically coming back and we're meeting into the same way. This was with the right, I told you, when we took the left. And it's nice to see that we don't allow target shooting. Where are you going? So this path is nice and wide. And the people that can't figure out what to do with their old furniture, for whatever reason, this seems like a good idea. Now this road, if we stay on it, will take us right back to where we came in by Hillco. And ergo, here come the problems. This isn't too bad right now because you can get around on the edges. And again, they didn't know what to do with the old TV, so they brought it in here. Looks like somebody took a shotgun to the propane tank here, given the way the holes are popped into it. And Ozzy finding something interesting. Ozzy! Again, you can see the variety of dumping that's been done around along here in the process. But you can get around this, not too much problem. Again, this is a trail here that will connect you over to the old railroad right of way. But it is a wet one. It can be very muddy, so we're not doing that. We're not going down there. Here comes the real problem. Okay? Is that up until the warm days in the summer, this is pretty much gets flooded out to the point of being impassable. Certainly, if you're coming down here for a walk, it'd be a problem. So when you're looking out and you step up from here, looking up Fuller Street, this entrance that I'm next to, and the next couple up, you go in here, they will lead you up to Water Drive and out to back of Hillco. Now we're going to go over this way, across the little bridge, and over here, as we look on Fuller Pond, next we come up again, down at the source. coming into here now. Now this is the other main trail. You see it on the maps. It's called the old railroad bed. And so basically parallels the other way. You come into here. Now there is a second road here. If you follow this up and over, and follow this through, it parallels the railroad bed for a while there, and would lead you eventually back of the public safety municipal buildings. So we're going to go down here. Back in the day, the trains would have come out up here. You can see part of it's lost when it goes through the quarry, but on the other side of the quarry, in back of the outlets, it's part of the trail. It's part of, the right of way. If you want to go back down onto that way, if you wanted to head over towards the public safety building, you could be a left over there. Well, the other water drive is fairly flat. The railroad bed over on this side has an awful lot of humps. And I'm sure, judging by the dirt bike tracks, that the dirt bikers just love this to no end. How clever people would be at times. I always like seeing this. This would be the way down towards the Vernal Pond. And I would love to know the story on this thing. Looks like it would be someplace where you'd go up and sit, like for a hunter. Just can't imagine why. But somebody did this. Anyways. And you would go straight up, and you would have the public safety building in the town complex to your left. To go right here, and you stay straight through, take you down into the pond, or you could traverse over the hill and pick up this next trail that I'll show you. But if you went down this way, I'll have to know what's in front. Okay. And you can see the water levels have come down. There's the bridge. Now, the bridge used to go straight across, Somebody moved it. I would say the only people that had any incentive to moving it would have been the dirt bikers, so they could go straight across without going on the bridge. Which is probably better for the bridge anyways. But it does look like there's care's being taken with it. But if you went across this bridge, as I said, you'd come up by the planning station, and if you're in the public safety driveway where the emergency vehicles come out, there's the gate. There's no trespassing, not Attleborough water or whatever. Like I said, somebody moved it. It used to be straight across. It would be straight across here, but somebody moved it over here to the left. At least, and it looks like it's been. Somebody comes down and it looks like they maintain it once in a while in the process. All right, Ozzy. Ooh. He wants to get a drink. Come on, I'm not going this way. All right, so we go now to the left. So we follow on this, and we're coming back out again on the railroad, the old railroad bed. And when we come out here, we're going to go left, because I'm going to show you how you used to be able to get to Town Park. Not anymore. But if you went straight across here, you would come back out on the road we originally started when we took that left. When we took the left to go in and check the end of Water Street, this would be opposite of that. But we're going to go down this way. All right, this used to be the way you'd be able to get to Town Park. I'm going to show you why it isn't anymore. It's a fixable problem. Somebody needs to come down and fix it. So this is the pump house. And there's a path right around it. And that will lead us to the problem. This is in back of the DPW lot. Boys are doing some clearing down here. It looks like somebody's addressed a problem. No, they haven't. And here is why this doesn't work anymore. There are just too many trees. They can be climbed over and the like, but for people who walk in their dog and the like, this is a problem. So when you look at the map, it shows that you should be able to go from Town Park over to the railroad bed. Well, it can be done, provided you want to hurdle this thing. Anyways, back out we go. So we come back out and we've rejoined the, again, like what is it? It's called the old rail bed. As we proceed, it looks into be pretty good shape. Now, as you can imagine, with the water being this close, that there are flooding issues from time to time. And I'll show you one way. It looked at one point, when I first moved into the area, that they were trying to put a one of those fitness trail workstations here, there, and everywhere. And one place that came in handy, some that people noticed. Now down here, here's a patch that frequently floods out. And what somebody did is they got a 4x4 and they made a little simple way to get across this. Because you can see that the water comes from over there and will flood across over into there. All right? So this oftentimes, this will be problematic. But before you even get this far, if there's a lot of water, you'll have run into a lot of puddles and pondings in the process. Back to Hillcote in its parking lot. Somebody's come back here and done some work. This used to be, also it's a puddle and a whole lot narrower. Not quite sure who and why it was done. Makes it nicer. There were a whole lot more puddles in the process. Now we got just this one. All right, this is where we came in. Okay. After you've come down from Water Drive, this becomes, on the town maps, also is an extension of Water Drive. We'll take this through and show you how far you can get. Now the other, I've shown from the other end, the puddling, and I'll show you from this side where it starts. And on top of that, I'll show you how you can get, and I'll show you how to get around it. As we're looking over in that direction, you'd be looking towards the town, towards the back of Telford Park in the town. This way, that's like Valerie Drive up that way. Here at this point, you can bear, if you bear right, it'll take you straight over and connect you to the old railroad bed. Again, a pretty good trail in pretty good shape. And I'll show you more of that later. And again, this other trail would lead you up into the, up and connect with the trails that lead up to the back of Field Drive. We're going to go straight for now. All right, so we're going to take one of the cross trails now. This one's fairly open. There's a bunch of these types of trails, and most of them are passable. If anything, it's just simply out of lack of use. If you want to know how useful they are, again, this is where the dirt bikes, if you can see them passing, you see the tracks, you know it's passable for them. Doesn't mean to the exclusion. So basically, I'm trying to stick to the trails that you can travel, you can walk to by. That you can walk 2 by 2 on. Again, it's not unusual for there to be puddles and ponding. But again, if you wear proper footwear, not a big deal. Every once in a while, you run into something and you would just love to know what the story is. I see no easy access for this trailer. Might be a pickup bed. But anyways, how this got in here to be marooned, as it were, to be dumped in here. Clearly it's been here for a while, judging by the rust and the buildup of sediment and everything around it. But still, there has to be a story with that. Later in the season, there'll be an awful lot of these vines you see hanging down here will be adorned with thorns. That's something to keep in mind. All right, again, variety of projects, mostly by Eagle Scouts. In order to make this trail work, there's this little unique wooden bridge that seems to be in fairly good shape. Well, let's get out of the water. He's not crazy about walking on the bridge there, but come on, yeah. Come on, get up here. So anyway, if you come down here during warmer weather, it wouldn't be unusual to see turtles sunning themselves on some of this floating wood. All right, here is when it can be problematic. If I wanted to go right here, the direction I'm looking in now, that would take me back out towards Water Street. But I also know that a lot of the trail here is at best muddy, at worst underwater. So we're gonna go the other way. And you can see here the trail is a bit that way. If you were aware of boots, it wouldn't be such a problem. I'm wearing sneakers, so that doesn't mean I just have to be a little more adventurous. So I come over the bump. The trail is there. I I'm going to go over here because one giant step gets me to the other side. And so I go. And here comes Ozzy the Wonder Pup. And now we pick, oops, sorry. And now we pick up the trail. And here we are. All right. Well, that's this way. All right, so this now connects to the railroad one. The first trail that I showed you, the easy one, is over on the other side of the rise here. You come up here, you can cut across to this one easy enough. The third one I showed you was the one that we just came up. That's all covered with mud. And the top of the peak over there, that's the middle trail. And that would take a bit of doing. Again, none of them are impassable. It's just really busy. So if I turn right here and keep going down it, it'll take me down to the back of Hilco. Turning and looking the other way, if I go this direction and go straight out, it'll take me out to Fuller Street. Very easy walks, very passable. But we're going to go this way. And we'll show you how another way of getting out of here. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. You can hear a rapping noise. That would be the sound of a woodpecker banging his head. So again, we have another little bridge here. Originally, this bridge went straight. My feeling is that... Originally, this went straight. My feeling is the dirt bike crowd shoved this over so they could drive through without having to drive on the bridge. Which... Since the bridge is in relatively good shape, and again, this is the water from 10 Mile River is fairly clear and clean. So again, a nice wide trail. This is going to lead us by another one of the North Attleborough pumping stations. Hey, how we doing? Now, according to maps, I should be able to walk down and come out to the back of Town Park from here. Oh, but late. That hasn't worked very well. I'll show you why. Okay. You can see here that it's been dammed up a bit. There have been some improv attempts at making it passable. And if you're 12 years old, I'm sure it would be fun. I'm 66. I know what will happen to me if I try and cross this. So this cuts off coming out the back of the park and coming this way. Go on, dummy. So I believe on some maps it shows you that it works. It really doesn't. Though sometimes if it's been dry and a bit of a drought condition, it may get down low enough that it's passable. But I have not of late found that to be the case. So what you have I'm stepping on it. So you got, if we went straight ahead, it would take us by another Attleborough pump, North Attleborough pump rather, and then on to Fuller Street. Through the woods, if you can see it, is our new municipal building collection. And this road leads up, and it'll come out right in back of town, Hall.